This is the Criterion Creeps podcast, and tonight we're talking about Lola from 1981, directed by Werner, Fassbinder, and concluding our look at the BRD trilogy. Even
the what?
Trilogy.
Nice, interesting,
very smooth.
Mm.
A synopsis here from Letterboxd. Germany in the autumn of 1957. Lola, a seductive cabaret singer prostitute, exalts in her power as a temptress of men, but she wants out. She wants money, property, and love. Pitting a corrupt building contractor against the new straight arrow building commissioner, Lola launches an outrageous plan to elevate herself in a world where everything and everyone is for sale. Shot in childlike candy colors, Fassbinder's homage to Josef von Sternberg's classic The Blue Angel stands as a satiric tribute to capitalism.
It's a long fucking synopsis there. Childlike, almost candy-like.
Candy-like.
Mm-hmm.
So I find this synopsis a little misleading. It doesn't give...
it's a little bit.
Yeah, like it really gives a lot of the agency to Lola, and I never felt that it was like all her. It's not like Maria Braun, where it's like very much like that. This description of Lola seems like it fits more Maria Braun's character than it does the Lola character, where it seems like everyone's fucked in this world. Actually, the only person who's really happy is Schukert. He's like really like he's the happiest person of all of them. Nothing ever really upsets him too much.
He doesn't have any, like, I think he very openly says too, he's like, stuff's good. He's like, I got money, I got a job, I got hookers at the cabaret. He was like, what else do you need?
There
right?
you go. There you go.
He kind of looks like Alfred Molina too, a little bit.
Oh, well, RJ, if you had finally taken my advice and watched the film Caliber 9, you would know about the majesty of Mario Adorf.
Did you mention that he looked like Alfred Molina at that point?
Probably.
Okay. I trust you.
He's in a few things. He's a very... do you not recall him in Lost Honor of Katharina Blum?
Oh, I recall.
Yeah.
I recall. But I think it's his beard line here is it's so like tight, high and tight.
Yeah.
Gives that appearance there. But yeah, I agree with you. That Lola is not really... Like, I didn't feel like she really did anything.
Well, she did, but like
she's there.
Everyone's kind of they're on equal ground.
They interact.
This feels like she's really scheming, where it actually comes from the fact that she gets insulted by Schukert. Anyway, before we get to that, let's talk about some general thoughts about this movie. So, this movie I feel more directly very bluntly deals with the economic miracle. You might recall me yammering on about at the beginning of the trilogy when we were talking about Marriage of Maria Braun and what this BRD trilogy was.
Sure.
This is sort of like Germany's trying to get back up on its feet, West Germany anyway, post World War II. And so you got to rebuild, which means you got building going on, and everybody's rushing in to get things done. So where Maria Braun was a brown and desaturated movie, Veronica Voss is a full-on black and white movie. Lola is neon and like garish. It looks like a Dario Argento movie at times.
Some might say that it's almost candy-like.
Candy-colored clowns.
Yeah, it's very bright.
Yeah, so I mean that's those three color palettes, I guess, sort of intermingle in a way because they're movies. They're movies, RJ. So
sure they are.
So this movie starts off with the nightclub, this bordello cabaret, where we meet Mario Altdorf's character Schukter. He's the big builder. He's worth millions, and he loves it. He loves this place. Favorite place to hang out because there's all these lovely women that will do all sorts of things for him if you pay a price, and he's fine with that. But it seems like everyone else that goes there, all the other members of the community, the mayor, other people that work in various offices, they're more ashamed to be seen there and kind of have to like sneak around Cloak and Dagger style, even though everybody knows that that's what they're doing. So this movie sets up the contrast of sort of like the what we do in the day and what we do at night, and the duality, I guess, of the existence. And the happiest person is the horrible capitalist man who's absolutely fine with this all, with this like with the way things are. You got to bribe people sometimes, make them happy, throw money at the problem, and you'll be fine. Just admit that you're horrible and have impulses on your mind. Just follow it. There's no big deal.
Yeah.
But then
I'm with him.
Yeah, it's very RJ-ian, Belogian.
Ooh, but then what happens?
Well, this Von Baum guy shows up.
Von Boom? Von Bon?
Von Baum?
I like when they say it. It's always like Von Bon?
Yeah.
Von Boom?
So, played by Armin Mueller-Stahl. He gets hired to become the building inspector of Coburg, the town that this film is set in. And he's straight as an arrow, straight-laced guy. He plays by all the rules. He doesn't want plants in his office. He doesn't want, he wants his secretary to be there a minute before him at least. And nothing on his desk, nothing in his drawers, just maybe a cork board to put his notes. He's very straight shooter.
Proper.
Yes, he deals with everyone. He's very nice to his housekeeper. Very like kind, and it's like you know what? When I come home, I don't want to have to think. You take care of the food, you take care of the house. That's what I pay you for. Just make things happy, and that's all I need. Like the sweetest man, so great. And so this movie's about tearing it all down, because this is the sort of man that is not going to be a part of the miracle, the economic miracle, and the rebuilding of Germany. This guy's going to hold us back. So. We have these things are kind of built into the story, I guess. And we have I'm trying to remember the one guy. Is it Eslin? Who also works in Von Baum's office. He's the drummer at the club. And he's like very frustrated by this whole exchange because him and Lola have a relationship.
In which way, Jer?
In the sense that they have a daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But is it publicly known, though?
No. So the housekeeper is the mother to Lola, if I have this right.
Yeah, that was kind of how it took me a little. I was like, is that what that is?
This is a curious thing, and I don't know if I just like blinked. Yeah. I blinked and I missed it, but that's a common thing with these Fassbinder movies. Is they keep these familial relationships on the vague side. They don't it's not like a indiscretion of an American wife where everyone's like, this is my nephew. And every relationship is spelt out. This is kind of vague. And you get these scenes that play out and they're talking. You're like, whoa, what's going on? You mean the reason why this guy seems weirdly jealous this whole time is because the mother of his child is this prostitute, this sex worker working in this nightclub, banging the richest man in town, and his wife, or his the wife's mother, his mother-in-law is, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm not 100% sure.
Well, is that, but also he was also seeing her too, right?
Yeah.
Like at the brothel. That was the same guy, wasn't it?
Yes.
Like the turtleneck guy? Yeah. So he was like, not just the other part of that, because I don't know, I think I thought of that, but I wasn't really sure whether or not that was what was happening, whether it was a kid or not, because I was a little confused. I was like, I think he's just kind of mad because he's seeing her also, but there seems to be more than just that.
Well, again, there's these, I don't even know if duality is the right way of putting it, but all these faces that people are wearing, because they all have these different lives, and you get to see them in different contexts depending on where they're at, if they're at home, or if they're at work, or in the club, and they transition pretty effortlessly between these things, or if they're going to church, and then they're like, what are those people doing over there protesting? So suddenly the guy he works for the city, but he's also a anti-war protester, anti-building protester, even though he works in the building department, and he's also he's this drummer. It's just all these little factions, all these little thought processes. And once again, Schuchert, he just doesn't care. He moves effortlessly between these things. I mean, you find out fairly late in the movie he's married, and
Schuchert, yeah, and her and Lola are good friends.
Are they?
Well, no, not good friends, but like
At the
they're
end,
acquaintances, right?
yeah, well, because she knows that he has a mistress or
A
whatever,
guma.
and she doesn't care. And
Yeah.
she's like, whatever, I get to live this life, and he
Hmm.
gets to do whatever he wants. That's fine by me. You get that like really awful exchange with her where she's over for dinner at Von Baum's house, and the
Oh
housekeeper's
yeah.
sitting with her. She's like, oh, what country? Where are you from originally? Oh, yes, the food's it's very exotic, and she just keeps like saying all these like passive aggressive things over and over and over again, and you keep waiting for it to boil over, but no, it doesn't happen in this society. You just keep taking it.
Yeah. Well, and then I mean, it just shows how good of a guy Von Boom
Mm-hmm.
is because he's there. Him and his housekeeper are like best friends, right?
Pals.
But well, because when they leave, she's like, I'd never have my housekeeper be seen in the house, let alone eat dinner with us.
Yep.
She's like the stupid bitch.
That's a matron in my house. You wouldn't know the difference. And yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have Miss Hettich, the secretary, who's obviously very much in love with Von Baum.
Yeah,
trying to
and
do-
you feel you feel bad for her for a little bit too because she seems like she's trying her best, Jer, and she just really doesn't want to disappoint him, right?
Right.
But she can't really handle the pressure. Well, she can, but she shows her emotions very visibly, right? She's always crying, and she's like, "I'm trying my best," and you're like, "You go, girl. You are trying your best."
Right. We have the return of Gunther Kaufman,
Mm-hmm.
our everyone's favorite Black American soldier, just hanging out. He's like, sometimes he's even living in the house, and you're like, what's he doing there? And he's like leaving with this like woman. And you're like, huh? He just is always around. No one's questioning him.
This one seemed, out of all the three, this one seemed the most like where he's just there, and
Yeah.
it's just like unquestioned. The other ones, like I think, tried to rationalize it a little bit.
Well, for sure, yeah. Like, because even in
Yeah.
like, yeah, 'cause especially in the because he's got his scene where he's like got the confrontation on the train, and he's in there. But yeah, it's like, is he playing the same character? Is this the same man? Is this his arc? But I mean, that doesn't really make sense because there is like, well, I guess no, it does make sense because they're all in the 50s. So yeah, maybe he just had a rough patch when he gets
Maybe.
when he's on the drugs in Veronica Voss.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I like this movie. I thought that it definitely felt the most Douglas Sirky. And I don't know if that's because of the color palettes, and like it felt very traditional in its telling. Whereas at times, like Veronica Voss had, like, it was so stylized in how like in the filmmaking. That it felt so stylized because it was black and white. It always kind of felt like very movie-ish. And this movie is super stylized and movie-ish in full color, but it feels like the story kind of has that slow descent, and it does the thing again where I laugh at his movies. I find them funny, but in this one though, it ends on this note where it's like it's supposed to be kind of almost like a light moment, but it's so depressing.
Yeah, I wasn't really like just be straight with you, Jared. I wasn't really sure what to make of that. I was like, is this a happy ending? because like that's his last, like the final words. It's like, are you happy? It's like, yeah, I'm happy. But then at the same time, you're like, wait a minute, where's your wife?
Well, it's got these the final scenes of this movie. So, I mean, the whole storyline, I guess, to lay it out for folks. So Lola is angry because Schukert kind of says, "Oh, there's this new guy working at the office. He wouldn't even kiss your hand because, like, basically, because you're a whore." That kind of, and laughing about it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, well, I bet you 30 bottles of champagne I can do it." And she just like sets out to seduce this guy, playing it like cool and playing like this. Well, like very much kind of like the Maria Braun kind of approach, I guess, where she's like kind of collects herself and is like, I'm going to be like what this guy wants. And once I accomplish what I need, where he like proposes to me and wants to marry me, I'll drop him. And she does that, which of course destroys Von Baum, who has no idea that like what she does for a living or anything like that, until Essel, her ex-husband, who's like pissed off at this whole situation. He wants rid of Schukert because this guy just keeps ruining his life because he can always outspend him, and take his mother of his child away from him. So he's like, well, I'm going to blow it all up. I'm going to take all your money away by getting the building inspector to come in and cancel all your big plans to develop this neighborhood. And he brings him to the bar, and of course he reacts horrified and starts just laughing, and goes back to his office, and of course everything kind of is set in motion, but eventually there comes a compromise.
What's the compromise, Jer?
Well, it's because Von Baum, he wants to pull the trigger, but he loves Lola so much. He loves her so much. So he marries her. And, before they could like go on any sort of a honeymoon or any sort, she's like, oh, well, I'll see you later. And she leaves with Schukert. And Schukert takes him back to the Schukert pad, takes him back to the new house that she just got, and signed over buying the club over to give it to his daughter, or give it to Lola's daughter when she's 21 or 25. And then he proceeds to take her maidenhead, so to speak. And it's like, it's great. It worked out wonderful. And we cut to old Von Baum, who's out by the barn where he and Lola first laid down. And who's up there in the rafters of the barn this time? Why, Lola's daughter. And he looks up there, perhaps reminiscing, thinking about the first time with Lola. And he's like, are you happy? He's like, yeah. But it's just like, oh my God. It's just like, it's just setting up these things that are going to play out again and again in this horrible way, and the compromises and this weird, creepy images of like this woman and her daughter, and this like, oh yeah, it's I wasn't expecting it. Again, like this and Veronica Voss is kind of like slowly creep to these endings. We were just like, fuck, but they're like, this one, it's like kind of played like, huh, it's kind of fun, but it's like, but you're like, oh no. This isn't fun at all. Yeah,
I didn't find that most of this movie was, or I didn't find any of this movie fun, to be honest.
No,
like, in that sense.
Yeah,
because like that whole time you're just like, because you see what he doesn't, and he's like, she good girl, she go to church with me, she Lola. That's how Von Boom talks, and that's just all he thinks about. And then it's like when he does see her, he's like, these whores. And then he comes back, he's like, I will buy your whore.
Yeah.
And Schukert is just like, cool. He's like, whatever, man. What you got?
Embrace it, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's he's getting pressed a little bit. We kind of left out that detail. Or you might have talked about that.
Oh, no, I think I did kind of skim over it.
Yeah.
But.
So, I mean, there was motive for him to just do it. But that whole, that's the whole movie. And you're just like, oh, man, it really sucks to be Von Boom. Like Dr. Von Boom, Dr. Doom, because he's just there playing his like fiddle, his violin, and just like a real good guy. He's nice to
watches 2 channels on his new TV.
Yeah, and he's just like, he has the most striking blue eyes. He's just sitting there with these piercing, majestic eyes, and you're just like, man, he's a nice guy. Why can't he catch a break? And I mean, not that Lo's not nice, but I mean, she does. As you put it, she left her wedding. She's like, I gotta go run some errands, and she just goes back to the old fuck shack with Schukert, or however that plays out. And you're like, oh, that's a bummer. It's a major bummer there, Jer. So yeah, it's not the most chipper movie.
No.
Where like, I think kind of like what you said, none of them were, but I mean, some of them have some levity to it.
Yeah.
So there's that. Tell me more about Lola.
I mean, those are kind of my broad strokes. I've never I should have probably watched The Blue Angel this week, because now would have been a good time as any, because I mentioned it last week about Marlene Dietrich. And yeah, I mean, this is based on the same original novel, Professor Unrat, aka Professor Garbage.
Ooh.
By Heinrich Mann's 1905 novel. That's right. And which is about a cabaret singer, dancer named Lola. Lola.
Oh, like Lola. Lola. That one?
Exactly.
Yeah. I like the Zap Brannigan one most. But you know,
of course.
yeah. Well, there you go. It's this movie called Voa.
So what do you think about this Lola?
I like it for the most part. I'm kind of So it's like last week with Veronica Voss, where I was like, I liked it at the end of it, and I was like, there's just some bumps along the way. Like this one, I wouldn't say it was like that. Like I liked individual elements, but there were certain things to it too where I was kind of like, it's not particularly landing for me. Not that it's bad or anything like that. I was just like, I don't know. For when I was watching it, I was like, it is what it is. I was like, Lola's with Schukert and Von Boom. There were some things that I liked a lot. Like I think it looks wicked good, Jer. All those child candy like colors, or however they described it. The color stuff's awesome. Like I think there's a few scenes where, like when she's singing, and you just get like the whole kind of like cabaret, like all the colors coming through, and you're like, ooh,
yeah,
that's cool.
The lighting in it's like this movie's like pretty crazy. There's just like layers. Like suddenly somebody moves into a different spot of the set, and you're just like, oh, they're completely differently lit. I didn't even know that color existed, and then there it is, and it's not until someone steps into it that it's there. Yeah,
exactly. So like I think there's some like really good stuff with the colors and the lighting, and then kind of like I said before, there's a scene with Von Boom where it's just like, what's his name, Von Boom,
Von Boom,
Von Bun, whatever, dude,
Von Boom,
Von Bun. He's like, I think he's telling a story, like when he first meets his like housekeeper. He's telling a story, and it's like showing a close up of his face, and it like shows his eyes, and they're like super bright blue. I was like, damn. I was like, this is some nice color, man. Or that guy's got like crazy nice eyes. Could have been either. Maybe it was both. Who's to say? But I think it's just a nice mark on the camera work, and you know, the colors and the lighting, I guess, is a thing. We've mentioned the lighting before a few times.
Do you know the kind of the thing about the Blue Angel?
No. Okay. Is that why he had blue eyes?
Well, no. So the Blue Angel presents the tragic transformation of a respectable professor to a cabaret clown and his descent into madness.
Do cabarets have clowns?
Sometimes they do.
I don't think I'd want to go there. No. To that kind of cabaret. What was I talking about? I mean, that makes kind of sense. Yeah, we should have watched it. Oh well. No, like I like it. It's a good show, but I think in terms of the other two, I don't think I put it as highly as
the other two.
Yeah, I think
that's fair.
Yeah, and it's got good stuff. It doesn't necessarily have any bad things, but I don't think it has as much good stuff as the other two do. Where like Maria Braun, I was like, ooh, I like all this talk about old pervs and old balls. And Veronica Voss, I was like, oh shit, that got dark. This one's just kind of like, oh, this is a bummer. Like the whole way through.
Right.
So yeah.
I think like as far as the this idea of presenting the economic miracle that people hang on this BRD trilogy, though, I think this one encapsulates that the best of the three, because the other ones, like I feel like they have these like very strong stories. This one seems like it's very much about West Germany and his interests, I guess Fassbinder's interest in doing these things. But it's like, because otherwise it's like, yeah, here's like 3 depictions of women, and there's this thing that runs through it, but this one I think is the strongest one as far as like depicting that particular theme.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Without knowing much about the goings-on of 1950s West Germany.
Well, I mean, I know quite a bit.
Yeah.
I just don't want to, like, you know, play my cards too soon.
I see.
Yeah, I'm waiting for when we get to the BPRD trilogy, and then I can really drop my German history on you.
Talk about that Plague of Frogs.
They're German? Are they not? Hey, did you notice that this thing has weird music dissolve transitions between scenes?
No.
Where it's like when the scenes move from one to the other, it's almost like a PowerPoint dissolve, and the music will come in and it'll be like boom, 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 boom. It's not Seinfeld music, but it is kind of strange. I was like, that's weird. I was like, I wonder what that's about.
And we had the return of the gorgeous Fassbinder opening credits.
Yeah, they're pretty nice in this one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the image is that I'm looking at the beginning of that, because it's like it's a photograph of a old man looking at some sort of machine, and then like there's these 3 bars that run along the left hand side, which are the colors of the flag of Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And then the title just comes up, and I'm like, I don't know what this photo is of.
You're like, what does this mean?
What is cinema?
Who's to say? Who's to say? I don't know if Fassbinder knew. I'd say the biggest thing about all this, Jared, is that whenever you and was it John Waters make your Fassbinder documentary,
Of course.
it'll be like the Blade Runner thing. The documentary might be more interesting than any of the movies.
Wow.
It's possible.
It's a tall order to fill.
So do you think, having seen them all now, is there like, were you going to talk about like how they go together? I guess
I kind of was when I was talking about the theme, I guess. Because there's definitely a similarity between the Maria Braun and the Lola character arc, but I find that it is presented differently. With Maria Braun, it is I find her to be the main character at all times, and in Lola, I find that she definitely is like not as prominent, which is interesting because the movie's like titled after her, and you do get a lot of scenes of her as well. But I find that like Von Baum and Schuchert, like that's kind of like one of the major Essel, I think is Essel, whatever his name is. They're a big part of the story, more so than any of the other males. Even in Veronica Voss with the reporter, he's in it quite a bit with his old lover, I guess. Now that he's in love with Veronica Voss, but yeah, the balance I feel is different in all 3 movies. So they're not like so they're all very different at the same time.
Yes.
But yes.
I don't know. Someone's dropping some cutlery upstairs or something. I mean, hey, broken 50s Germany is a scary place.
Absolutely.
See Marriage of Maria Braun. No, I don't know. Like, yeah. No, I think... what? Words are hard. No, Lola's pretty good. It doesn't have everything in there, but I do think, like, kind of like what you said, there's this, not just the American military guy, but there's some threads that kind of go throughout.
Well,
and it's mostly just the context.
We'd be remiss to not mention the appearance of one Udo Kier.
Yeah.
Party boy.
I like that scene when he was slow dancing with that naked woman.
Of course,
because well, not because she was naked, Jarrett. It's just
it's Dracula and Dr. Frankenstein all at once.
All at once. There's just something so I don't know, like off-putting, I guess, but also romantic about a fully clothed man and a completely naked woman, because it's very strange. Like, not even men or women, but like when one person is fully clothed and another person is completely naked, it's strange. No? And they're dancing in a public setting, even stranger. I mean, you and me do that a lot, but
right.
You know, whatever.
You want to hear from people who hate Lola?
Sure.
Hot it. So I have one here from a fan of the show.
How do you know?
Well, they don't follow too many people, but they follow both of us.
Okay.
Axa.
Okay.
And they wrote Jarrett RJ, Jarrett RJ, Jarrett RJ, Jarrett RJ, and give it half a star.
Are they rating the movie half a star, or are they rating you and me half a star?
I'm not sure. I did respond. I wrote, I read this to the sound of the old RKO Pictures Morse code.
That one?
RJ, yeah. Jarrett RJ, Jarrett RJ. That's how I read it in my mind.
Interesting.
So,
well, I don't know much about AXA, but some of the movies that they don't like are Justice League and The Village, which is a great movie, and something called Killer Bean Forever and Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Oh no, that movie is awesome. Real good. Let's check out these 5-star films, Jarrett.
Okay.
Love on a Leash, Love at First Bark. I don't know what that is, but it looks wicked. Looks like a lady dates a dog.
Oh,
I don't know. We got The Lighthouse. We got some Lasagna Cat, Full Force, Evangelion, Amadeus, The Devils. All sorts of good stuff in here, Jer. So maybe they're right. Maybe this is a half-star film.
maybe.
Who knows?
Maybe they just wanted my attention.
I don't know. What would make you think that?
Dean Curtis.
Ooh.
2 stars.
Okay.
I didn't like the garish colors, which are obviously colored stage lights.
You don't say.
Someone compared them to Jacques Demy's wonderful early 60s films, which are far more naturally colorful. The colors actually distracted from the film rather than enhancing it for me. I think in natural light and with fewer bordello scenes, which were boring, I would have liked the film much more.
I didn't think the bordello scenes were boring. Did you?
No. I liked the whole movie. I didn't find it a snoozer like sometimes happens.
Well, I mean, Dean Curtis likes Criterion movies,
Yeah.
such as Umberto D, M, Redbeard he gave 5 stars to, which is weird. Monsieur Hulot's Holiday 5 stars. That would be pretty contentious in our neck of the woods.
Yep.
And then some 1-star films include Green Room.
Huh.
Which is bizarre. So I don't know what's up with you, Dean Curtis. Seems. Oh, and then like, whoa. 1.5 stars to Suspiria, Jarrett. 70s. Not the recent one. So peculiar to say the least.
Oliver, not ours. 2 stars.
A different one.
I know. I didn't know there was more than one.
Ooh.
Everything around my room seemed more interesting than this movie. Sorry if I offend any Fassbinder fan. I just want them to know that I really tried.
I mean, I agree with the sentiment where it's like things in my room were more interesting, because that happens to me all the time. But why are you sorry? Oh, you know what Oliver should be sorry for? Given 5 stars to Suspiria, 2018 edition.
Oh.
Also 5 stars. We got Fight Club. We got Perfume. We got Call Me by Your Name. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Let's go to half stars, Jer. King Arthur. No. Come on. That's not a half-star movie.
RJ's troll movie.
Oh, well, how about this for you, Jarrett? T2 Judgment Day. Is that a half-star film?
That's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're really trying here.
What about Blair Witch? Is that a half-star? Is Blair Witch equal to Transformers, Battleship, all the Twilight movies? Because this person thinks so. And The Fly? Come on. Get out of here.
Like Cronenberg Fly?
Cronenberg's The Fly, half-star.
Okay, we'll never be friends, Oliver. Sorry.
Well, too bad.
And finally, we'll do one more here. Brandon Habes, 2 stars.
Okay.
It's a long one. Fassbinder has lit the candle on both ends on how many times he's uncovered the moral corruption of West Germany's post-war economic miracle. Business as usual, but I'm starting to get burned out. Frankly, he's plumbed the psychological complexity of these ideas and characters to much richer degrees in other films. The futility of upward class mobility is better explored in Fox and His Friends. The crookedness of politicians and businessmen felt more compelling in 8 Hours Don't Make a Day. And his disgust for bourgeois vultures stings narratively sharper in Mother Custer's Goes to Heaven. One thing Lola does remarkably well, though, is the color palette. Electric blues, yellows, pinks, greens, and reds light up the screen at every turn, revealing the fakery of the free enterprise system and those who swindle their way to the top. The story is clearly trying to garishly cast a light on what Fassbinder saw as the rottenness of the times. Morally upright stewards battle seedy city schemers while building the boom of the period, but at the end of the day, everyone is draped in a rainbow-colored fog of immorality. Not the best of the BRD trilogy. I prefer The Marriage of Maria Braun much more, but the extraordinary use of color makes this tired, satirical remix of themes somewhat bearable to endure.
I think Brandon Habes is somewhat bearable to endure. Not bad picks here, Jer.
Yep.
5 stars. Well, actually, it's kind of a mixed bag. That's why what I was leading to. 5 stars to things like Martin and Night of the Living Dead and In the Mouth of Madness and The Thing. But also 5 stars to La Ventura. Lots of Criterion 5 stars, Workmeister harmonies, Burning 5 stars, Call Me by Your Name 5 stars. Get out of here. Get out of here. Here's some half-star films for you, Jer. Do you think Under the Silver Lake is a half a star?
No.
What about Geostorm, starring Gerard Butler?
Well, that probably is.
What about Ghosts of Mars?
I probably like that movie more than I should.
What about Pink Flamingos?
That's an acquired taste.
Well, this person gave it a half a star.
That's fair. You could definitely do that.
Ooh, here's one you'll like. 1 star to Manchester by the Sea.
Ooh.
Since that's your confirmed most hated movie.
No.
Also 1 star to Blade Runner 2049.
Hey.
See, very mixed bag.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
All right. What do you do? Any last thoughts here?
No, I mean,
you still on board with this Fassbinder?
Yeah, I like Fassbinder. I mean, I don't think we've seen any duds. Lola is probably one of the lower points for me, but I don't think it's still a good show.
It's like the Inception.
Oh, so I see what you're doing, Jarrett, and I don't like it. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think it's good. It's just not
the low
not
point
as good as the other
two.
two.
The low point would be following.
Oh, well, we'll get there one day, right?
And, yeah. Anyways, goodbye, West
Forever.
Germany. Goodbye. After the break, RJ gets the girl, but there's a big old dude who's fucking her right now.
Oh God, how big? Alfred Molina big?
Oh yeah, Dr. Octopus style.
Ugh.